How's it going, guys? Jeff Michael here. I'm one of the clinicians at the 2022 Horse World Expo in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania at the Farm Show Complex. I'm going to be putting on a couple of demos. I'm going to have a booth up there. Make sure you stop by and say hi. I'm also hosting the 2022 Rescued To Stardom competition. This thing is really close to my heart because I've done it twice. I was lucky enough to win it twice, but it is not easy. This is a competition where we take rescue horses in 90 days and show them in front of more than 1,000 people. It is tough. I'm lucky enough to be joined today by Aaryanne, who's going to be one of the trainers in the competition. She's riding for Rocky's Horse Rescue, and we're here with her horse, Ava. Aaryanne, I'm really impressed with you so far. Tell me a little bit about Ava.
Well, Ava here is a Arabian quarter horse cross. She is 12 years old. And when Rocky's first found her, she had been living in a place up in PA for about 5 to 7 years and was extremely malnourished with a 2-week foal at her side.
Oh my. When
they brought her to the rescue, she wasn't producing milk, and so they had to have the vet out to help give her special medicine so she could just be able to feed the baby. And they gave alfalfa to the mare to help her also just gain some weight because she was so malnourished. And she really was crazy. She didn't like being touched. She hadn't been messed with. She didn't want people. She didn't trust people. And really just, she was a seizure case. So they came and pulled a ton of horses out of this place that had just been severely neglected. And Ava was one of the fortunate horses to end up with Rocky's and get Sharon's wonderful care. Wow.
So she's coming from a feral horse.
Yes.
Yeah. Tell me, how old is she? What kind, how tall is she as well?
So she's 12 years old, and I think when I last sticked her, I think she's between 15 and 15-1.
Okay.
So, hands tall.
She's adorable. I mean, she's quiet. Tell me about her personality.
Her personality, well, let me start by saying that this is not the horse that definitely came here. The horse that came here would not stand still with a lead rope and a halter no matter how many times I ran her around. So this is just the true personality of what she is as she's come to trust people. Her personality, I would say, is kind of like a middle-aged dog that you get from like a shelter, where they're very shy at first, they're not sure how to respond to you, but the moment that you show them an inch of respect and love, they got the tail wagging. She'll perk up her ears. She comes to me and she just loves to be pet and rubbed, and she loves to fall asleep.
Wow. Now, you think she's enjoying the training process?
I think she didn't realize it at first. She definitely was very apprehensive to a lot of the things we did because she had never seen a bag on a pole before, or spurs even when I would shake them around her. And so I think at first she was very apprehensive, but now she looks forward. I go get her from the field and she's excited to come out here and work. I ask her to collect up and she collects, and she gets excited to just put in the work.
Good. I can see that in your videos. I mean, you start off where you can see, she hasn't done anything before.
No.
But you get a lot done in the first couple of weeks. So it looked like, I think she is enjoying it. You have a style in your training. Tell me about that style.
My style of training is definitely natural horsemanship. As I grew up, I've been riding since I was 3, really started to ride and develop myself around 10, and found I was really interested around 13 and to 15, where I really started to develop, I need to sit back more. And a lot of my training, which has also been developed by Rocky's, is coming in with the intention of take it slow, learn what the horse needs. I used to go in with a very confident, okay, the horse is not listening, let's figure it out. As if we're with this horse, for example, I come in here and she's like, I'm not ready to do that. Yeah. And we take a step back. And even if there's days we're making 5 steps forward, if the next day she wants to go back to stage 1, we go back to stage 1, and I listen to what she needs, and because she'll tell me what she needs. Most of the horses will sit there and say, hey, I'm scared, or hey, I'm not ready for that, or hey, I'm being stubborn, and we work from there.
And in the rescue horse situation, I mean, it is really important to listen to that horse.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like your style. I see a lot of the things that I like to do in the horses. So, is there any major influences in your training style?
My biggest influence would probably be Stacy Westfall. She does a lot of reining, ranch work. She's actually just gotten into doing some dressage because, as she even states to me, you're never done learning. She goes, I perfected reining. I've won. So now I'm showing dressage and taking lessons. Someone that's ranked very high in the Western world. Yeah. And she has been such an inspiration. I go to clinics with her. I've taken an aggressive horse that I've owned, and she has helped me build my confidence through my horse's hoof prints through a horse I didn't even trust at the beginning, and has brought me and taught me to be the horse person I am today.
Yeah, she's an absolute legend. She's been at the Horse World Expo in past years, and just one of the many great clinicians that I've learned from there. So that's great. You know, this has been a tough winter. I mean, in the Mid-Atlantic, January was probably the coldest I can remember.
Yeah.
How did it affect your training process at all?
We had about a week to 2 weeks total where you could add up. There was one solid week and where we just had snow and ice. And if it wasn't snow, it was just covered in ice. The ground was too hard. You couldn't do anything more than maybe some liberty work at the walk because it was so hard on the feet out here. I mean, I was tripping and twisting my ankles on the ground out here. So because I don't have an indoor arena, I only have the outdoor that my mom and I work in, that my mom bought the property with my dad, and we've just been very blessed with what we have and we make do. But it does make it difficult for things like this when I don't have an indoor, so I can't work as many days as other trainers, or I'm subject to rain or lots of wind, which also makes more casualties when you see wind with spooking.
Right. But I mean, you know, on the other hand, it exposes them the more, doesn't it?
It does, and it's definitely shown that I have a lot of bomb-proof horses when I take them other places, but it does make it difficult and very frustrating sometimes, but we push through.
Good. What's the one thing that you focus on probably the most when you're training a rescue horse? What's the one thing?
As I stated before, it would probably have to come down to just listening to them. I had to learn a lot of humility when I first started training. I had one tough horse, his name was Ajax, and that horse really took me for a whirlwind, and I had to learn to be humbled and step back and realize to listen to them, that I can't always just barrel through and push through, that with working with a rescue horse, it really comes down to patience and progress over perfection, and just taking your time.
So for the folks at home that have rescue horses they're working with, what's something you give them as advice?
My biggest piece of advice is, especially if you're getting frustrated or you're not sure what the next step is, take a step back. Look at the bigger picture, look at it from another perspective, find a new angle, and then really try to see, what is my horse trying to tell me? Are they in pain? Are they frustrated? Am I pushing them too fast? Or is this just not their job? And so really just taking a step back and really giving yourself time to think and process what the horse is doing and what they're saying to you also.
Couldn't agree more. I mean, you know, when you're dealing with a rescue horse, it's got a past.
Yeah.
So it's not always the same step, you know, building blocks that we do on other horses.
Every horse
Sometimes you got to go back and fix something, right? You know, I'm watching your videos. I watched you do a couple things that you know, I really liked. You know, the one, you're on the mounting block and you put your hand up and she side passes over. You know, is that something that you teach every horse, or just focusing on her?
Actually, it was something I learned from Stacy at our last clinic with my gelding, because he did not like to, he always liked to walk and move his butt away from me.
Right.
He's 16 hands, so if he's not close to the mounting block, I can't get up.
Yeah.
So I learned it with him, and so when she came and we had to take some step back when it came to riding, because she was very apprehensive to the idea of someone being on her back, we just did liberty stuff. And so that was one of the things I did to help bond with her. That we just did. That was also helpful for side passing, or helpful for just hip movements on either side.
So it didn't just teach one thing. You taught multiple things, and just getting that one
step has allowed us to learn sidestepping, has learned us how to turn on the forehand, and it can then be translated when turning on the forehand, depending on what parts of pressure I put.
Yeah. Well, you know, let's talk about that, because in one of your videos, you're on the ground and you're having her side pass across, something that I'm really big on. You know, one of my clinics is about softening through lateral motion. So, you know, tell me about that. Was that hard to teach, and what did you really accomplish by getting her to do that?
Lateral teaching for me has definitely been something I've been recently learning to perfect. I've known how to do it, but it has been something that I've had to do a lot more digging in, watch a lot of videos, message Stacy several times, because it's not a natural movement for a horse to just sidestep sideways and cross their feet.
Right.
So for her, it took a lot longer than actually my horse did, and it's because, one, she didn't know the coordination. She's 12 years old and had been left to just have babies.
Right.
And so it took a lot of trust, but when she realized, now sometimes she's almost too sensitive to it, and I have to go, okay, she's very eager to work, which is what brought back to that. But I definitely, the lateral training is so important, and I wish if I could tell my younger self to focus, it would have been to focus more on lateral training, whether you're riding or on the ground.
Yeah. I mean, in lateral training, you know, it's also just training that variation coming off your legs. You know, that line between fear and feel.
Yeah.
You know, and inside feel there's softness. So I think you're doing a great job there.
Thank you.
You know, I'm reading your T-shirt here, right? Sweatshirt, sorry. Building confidence through hoof prints. Is that your motto?
Yeah, so with the help of Stacy and Sharon, I was trying to find, like, what do I define myself as a trainer? And what is something that I will live by for the rest of my life? And really this statement stuck out to me, which is building confidence through hoof prints. This horse is definitely, there were some times I lost my confidence where I was like, I'm not so sure about this.
Yeah.
And you know what, taking a step back and focusing on who she was as a horse and who I am as a trainer really helped build my confidence through her.
I like it. It's a good job.
Thank you.
So, you know, we're going up to Harrisburg, and you're going to be showing there in the equine arena. There's going to be a couple thousand in the stands. What's the one thing that you want to show those people about Ava? What's one quality you want them to stand out?
If you give her your respect and you can earn hers, she will give you the world.
Okay. You know, you ain't got any big plans for that show up there?
We got a couple big things coming up. We're excited to surprise you guys with our routines that we're working on.
Okay.
Maybe some ranch stuff, integrating some fun Liberty work, but we're really excited to surprise you guys.
All right. Talking big. I see a lot of tools out here, you know, the different things. You know, in that process, I mean, we're going to see that up at Harrisburg probably?
Some of it will. I will say that I am actually going to focus less with my performance on a ton of tools and just showing really who she is. I may or may not have a couple tools up there. I won't say that for sure, but
Not going to let any secrets out.
there won't be a ton up there. I can say that because I really want to take time away from showing off a trick pony, but rather the true performance horse and safe riding horse that she has become and developed.
Great. So, you know, I want to reflect on your whole process here. You know, we're getting down the last couple of weeks. What's your favorite moment so far in this training process with Ava?
My favorite training moment was actually something I laughed about when talking to Sharon one day. I was on the mounting block teaching the lateral movement, and it was one of those humbling moments where I asked her to sidestep, and it was one of the moments she finally picked it up. And she sidestepped all the way over until she pushed me off the mounting block. Yeah. Because she was just, and it was just like, I couldn't even be mad because she did what I asked.
Right.
And it was a humbling moment to just kind of see her click. And that day was just, I then got on and we walked around, and it was just like this serene moment. There was a beautiful sunset. And it was just the realization of just how beautiful rescues are and how rescue horses, they're not just pieces of trash. They're not things to be thrown away, that they're jewels that have been covered with a little bit of dust.
Yeah. A lot of good ones out there. I mean, I still ride RPM about every week, so you know he's there at my farm and one of my favorites. You know, what is the one quality that Ava has that's probably going to be most standing out to somebody wanting to adopt her?
There's quite a few, but I would say her one that I've really enjoyed is how soft she is in her mouth. We're still working on that because she wasn't broke too long ago, but her responsiveness, I guess, to my seat, my weight, my hands. She's extremely responsive. She's eager to work, wants to learn.
Yeah.
She's not a horse that kind of comes in and is extremely lazy. She's looking for the right answer. And I find that so important in a horse, to be looking for answers rather than looking to avoid.
She's got a lot of feel.
Yeah.
When feel comes softness. Yep. I like that. You know, let's talk about an adopter. Who is your ideal adopter for Ava?
I would say myself. I wish I could keep her. I have grown to really fall in love with her, and it's gonna hurt the day I have to give her to her future owner. But I will say whoever gets her will be the luckiest human in the world, because this mare is just looking for someone that'll trust her, that'll give her her respect, and in turn she'll give you respect. So if you have the soft hands and can really take a step back and understand who she is as a horse, you'll be an unstoppable pair for the rest of your life.
She is a nice horse, and I mean, you talk about just really level, just standing here with me. I've never met her before, and she's really looking to you for confidence, but just doing a great job.
Thank you.
I'd like to have Sharon Berrier over here. Sharon's the head of Rocky's Horse Rescue.
Easy.
Sharon, if you could just stand over here and just close enough to get Aaryanne's mic. Sharon, you know, I've known you for a couple of years. You've been doing this as long as I've known you. But how long have you been working in rescue work?
I actually started by accident when I was 23.
Okay.
I'm not telling you how old
Last year.
Yeah, last year. Officially 8 years ago, but my husband and I had started it a couple years prior to that
Okay.
by accident.
All right. Where are you guys located?
Thurmont.
Thurmont, Maryland.
Yep.
Yep. And then, you know, just give us your mission statement. What's the primary reason that you're doing this rescue work?
We're a little different. I tend to read the horses more than, it's not just bring them in and get them healthy and get them adopted. Like this mare, she needed downtime. She needed to learn, you know, what it was like to be cared for. And you know, when these rescue horses go through the traumas that they do, as people, sometimes we think, oh, they're just an animal, they'll get over it. They don't.
Yeah.
So we give them the time, and it could be 6 months or 4 years.
Yeah.
Whatever they need. So our biggest thing is to listen to the horse.
I admire that. I admire that. You know, running a rescue is not easy.
Nope.
It's not cheap work. What are some of the things that the folks out there can do for you, you know, to help you with your rescue, and where can they go to do that?
We have a few different social media pages. Recently, I just started onto TikTok. I find it very funny. But we have a Facebook page. Our website's www.rhrr.org. The Facebook page. We have Instagram. And the website also. Everything has a way to donate. We're always looking for volunteers, foster care, approved foster homes to help. And volunteers are a huge issue, because without the volunteers, this would not be happening.
Yeah.
Because they help with the daily care, and that daily care is what makes a great horse.
Right. It's those people giving back, just time. That helps a lot. So guys, you know, make sure you check it out. Make sure you go to Rocky's Horse Rescue's Facebook page. You know, they can use volunteers, monetary help, all these things help these rescues. You know, that's what this whole Rescue to Stardom deal is. We're going to entertain you, but we really ask that, hello love, we really ask that you go there, you check out these rescues and give back, because they do great work, and we owe it to the horses. You know, not every horse gets the fairy tale life from the start, but it can end up with a really good end of the story with a horse like this. I mean, you know, I know my rescue horse. Every day I'm glad he's there on the farm, and you know what he's done for me is just unbelievable. Yep. So, well, thank you guys. I really appreciate it. Aaryanne, I think you're doing a wonderful job. You know, this is a really impressive horse. We've got some really good horses in this thing. I'm telling you, it is going to be a good show. I honestly think it's probably the best horses and training I've seen in one of the Rescue to Stardom so far. So I'm really excited about this. I think she's got some big secrets. I think we're going to see a really good show up there. So when we're up there, make sure you're cheering for her. I really appreciate you guys watching these things. Please like and share them. We wanted this thing to go national again. We want to share the stories of these horses. I'll see you up in Harrisburg. Make sure you stop by and say hi. I'll see you in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania.